Once upon a time, in a sunny village that was nestled between rolling hills, there lived a little girl named Amara. She had sparkling eyes that twinkled with curiosity and a heart that yearned for adventure. One day, while skipping through the village, she spotted a bright yellow feather lying on the ground. And from that moment on, she couldn't resist the urge to collect feathers of all shapes, sizes, and colors. Her collection grew with each passing day, each feather reminding her of some whimsical tale or fantastical creature. Little Amara loved playing with her feathers. She would arrange them in patterns on the ground, pretending they were tiny flags waving in the breeze. Or she'd gather around her knees and make wishes upon the North Star, releasing a feather with every whispered plea. But one day, while exploring the farthest corner of her yard, she discovered something extraordinary, nestled amidst the tangled branches of an old mango tree. She found a feather that seemed to glow with an otherworldly light. It shimmered like polished silver, catching the sunlight and transforming it into 1,000 tiny rainbows. As she reached out to touch it, the feather quivered, and in a voice as light as a sigh, it whispered, "You must be special." Overcome with wonder, Amara simply whispered back, "I don't know what you mean," and the feather, as if sensing her confusion, floated up and landed on her outstretched palm. But just as she began to examine it closely, a sudden gust of wind swooped down, snatching the feather away. And then, as if beckoning her to follow, it disappeared over the edge of the nearby stream, without hesitation. Amara took off in pursuit. She dashed through the mango trees, their roots parting like welcoming arms, allowing her safe passage. Then she raced across the gushing stream, its cold water a refreshing splash on her hot face. As she ventured deeper into the woods, the trees grew taller, their branches forming a thick canopy overhead. And suddenly the air grew heavy with doubt. A strong wind swirled around her, and in a voice like rustling leaves, it whispered, "You can't go any farther. You're too small. Turn back now before it's too late." But Amara, with the spirit of adventure coursing through her veins, stood her ground. She looked up at the wind, her eyes shining with determination. "I believe I can," she said softly. And with that, she pushed aside a curtain of hanging vines, revealing a path that lay bathed in golden sunlight. With renewed vigor, she skipped along the path. The wind, though still skeptical, allowed her to pass, and soon she found herself in the heart of the forest. Here the tall trees seemed to dance in the dappled sunlight, their shadows playing hide and seek on the mossy rocks and gnarled tree stumps. Birds sang melodies that echoed through the ancient trunks, and butterflies with wings like stained glass danced among the flowers. Amara, with knees growing muddy and shoes squelching with water, pressed on. She scrambled over fallen logs, each one a stepping stone to her unknown destination. And as she journeyed deeper, the forest seemed to open up, revealing a world of magic and wonder. At last, the trees began to thin, revealing a vast, unending sky. Before her stood a sheer cliff that seemed to touch the clouds, and at its edge, the wind whispered, "This is as far as you can go. Now turn back, little one, before it's too late." But Amara, remembering her journey and all the challenges she had overcome, knew that she could do this. With a deep breath, she reached out her hand toward the feather, which floated down gently, bathing her in its ethereal glow. And in that moment, as the wind began to hush and the trees clapped their branches in delight, Amara knew she had found her courage. And when the sky smiled down, she caught the feather. It wasn't just a feather that flew too far. It was her courage that soared to new heights. With her newfound bravery in hand, or perhaps it was the feather, Amara skipped happily toward home. Her shoes may have been muddy and her dress torn, but inside her heart glowed brighter than any star, for Amara learned that day that with a little belief, even the smallest feather can fly the farthest. So whenever you find yourself stuck, remember Amara's journey and whisper with conviction, "I believe I can." For in the end, it's our belief that carries us through the darkest days and helps us reach our dreams. And that, dear friends, is the story of the feather that flew too far.